Hello, folks, and welcome. I've found that I quite enjoy using this method of audio for responding to questions, mostly because a lot of these questions are really complex, and um, I feel like our meaning and our intentions and all of that can really be misinterpreted in writing. So I feel like it helps to get that voice aspect where we can see each other more clearly in this conversation. It's also a really huge reason why I encourage everybody to join Gentle Parents Unite on Skool so that we could get on voice and talk about some of the things that our questions and some of the things that you're struggling with a little bit more in depth because we sure can go a lot farther, a lot quicker in voice. So, anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and read a question from GPU here and then go ahead and respond to that question. So, the question goes, please help. My 3.5-year-old is seriously starting to push boundaries and seeking attention negatively. He doesn't listen to me on the simplest of things, and it winds up becoming a huge challenge. We have an 8-week-old that cries and fusses all day long, and I'm alone with both boys because my husband works so much. So it's usually me trying to get my toddler to do something simple while I have no hands holding a crying baby. It's a very stressful environment for both of us, and I'm sure that it is impacting his behavior. I have read a lot about supporting him during this time with the new baby, but unfortunately, I don't have the ability to do a lot of one on one bonding with just my toddler to fill his attention needs. I need to know how I can communicate gently and get my son to listen to me without yelling at him because I know that because that's always what it resorts to, and I can tell that it is stressing him out and making him worried that he's going to be mad at me. So, I just want to start by saying congratulations on the new baby. It's always exciting and a huge blessing and quite exhausting and sometimes a pretty large adjustment period when a new baby joins the family. Um, Congratulations again on the new baby. I'm excited for you that your family is growing. And I totally understand how hard this time can be for you and for your little guy. 3.5 years old, it's just kind of a baby themselves, right? I mean, getting bigger and probably has like a lot of cognitive skills and probably has like the capabilities of listening and achieving the task, right? Um, However, there's this nuance here. With small kids, I really like to come from a baseline of expecting that they're not going to do the things and being pleasantly surprised if they do. And I'll explain that to you a little bit. It's like, so can a 3.5-year-old understand what you're saying when you're asking them something? Yes, of course, most of them. As long as, we're not using like complex language and things like that, there's a really good chance that your 3.5-year-old has a great grasp of language and is able to engage in some kind of dialogue with you around things. And there's probably a lot of times when the 3.5-year-old is able to jump in and do the thing. However, um, like there's a lot of factors and developmental factors. I keep talking about the age of your child, which it tells me that they're very small and it tells me where, like, it gives me information about a broad a broad set of skills and knowledges that they may have encountered and things that they may be able to implement and apply and do. And people are really individualistic, and we don't all develop on the same levels at the same times in the same areas. So, um, all that in mind, thinking about our individualistic little kiddo and all that, um, you know, being able to understand and rationalize and like knowing the steps between A and B doesn't necessarily mean that we have the skills to apply them or exactly like the knowledge to apply them. And, at such a young age, or even like at my age, 48, we might not really have the desire to implement the thing that somebody's asking, telling us to do, right? And so there's a whole lot of factors that go into, well, not just listening, but also to completing the task at hand. So, um, I want to empathize with you because I hear you and I get it. I have been there and it is really hard being by ourselves with two small kids and so much on our plates. And it sounds like your baby is also struggling a little bit. You know, sounds like they're crying a lot. And so you're feeling on like all the time, trying to manage those very like real and urgent persistent needs of your baby, which I I'm so happy that you are able to do that and that you have that desire and knowledge that you want to be there for your baby and for your 3.5-year-old, because I can see that you definitely like you really care about your kiddos and the experiences that they're having. um so And I can also see that you're really, really tired, and under supported. So, one thing I want to kind of like address is that our exhaustion and under supportedness and all of that often leads towards us leaning on our kids to get a little bit more help with the things that we need, and certainly leaning on them to at least kind of meet their own needs, right? um And that was certainly how we were raised. That was what we were brought up with. That's how we understand the things to be, right? And so that's our oldest pathway in our brain, is to look particularly towards that older child and shift a little bit of the responsibility over to them. And at the same time, like, yes, we deserve a break. Yes, we need more rest. Yes, we absolutely need more support. And like getting that support, I guess like sometimes our kiddos will surprise us and they'll meet us there. They'll help us out. But with the connotation in which we were raised, we already know that getting that support from our kiddos is a little bit unhealthy. And when the neurons fire down that pathway in our brain, it's not like we're being bad or unhealthy. It's like we have an unmet need that we're trying to get met. And the oldest pathway in our brain is actually leading us right towards trying to meet that need through our child. So, you know, I'm not sure what other places or in what other areas you can remove some of the stresses or things from your life that might help you to feel a little bit less stress in your day to day and from moment to moment. Sometimes, if we take a closer look at other places where we can relieve stress, then it can help us overall so that we're able to come back around to the connecting with our kiddos. And that's really the kind of thing, like, again, I mentioned at the beginning, like, I coach people and I have this awesome Gentle Parents Unite on Skool, um, where for your monthly membership fee you get on calls and ask these questions in person, and then we get to like find ways, like, you can tell me things about your lifestyle and I can break it down for you a little bit more clearly based on what you told me, so that we could find places where we could remove pressure points from your life so that you were feeling more relaxed and you felt more connected with your kids and felt like you were getting a little bit more rest. And then a lot of the problems that you're having around this problem of not listening, they can kind of dissolve, because there's a couple of things, right? Here's stressed out you trying to manage way too much, trying to uphold the world, because that's like our lives, right? Like, we live in this world, and this world is not necessarily easy. And our role as parents has so much going on in it. And so here's you in the middle of trying to manage all of that. And here's your kiddo over here, kind of receiving it on an end where things between you and him, or you and them, have changed a lot. Before the baby came, I'm certain, just based off of reading your post and the things that you said, before the baby came, it was you and your older kiddo, and you got to connect a whole bunch. You got to spend a lot of time together. And because, like, you weren't spread so thin, the connection was probably really strong and things were probably like really great. And now here's this new little kiddo that needs 99.9% of your attention. And on top of that, because you're spread so thin, you end up kind of getting mad at him and yelling at him and all of that stuff. And like, again, I totally get it. And you know, I myself did not start my journey as a gentle parent. And I do this work and help people the way I do because I struggled with my own regulation, and particularly when free will set in. Like, babies were pretty easy for me, but free will set in, and managing like all that kid stuff, it was hard, and it brought up my triggers. And suddenly I, was not that, like, I was yelling and doing things that were out of alignment with my gut. And at the time, I didn't even know, like, I was a gentle parent. This was, many, many years ago. My oldest kid is now 27, and my second is 19. Um, and then I have two younger kids, but no more babies, unfortunately. Apparently, I really loved having babies because I did that for, like, 25 years. I have a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old. Um, so yeah, the baby days are kind of moving away for me. I try to, stay connected to them though, so that I can really like I try to stay connected to my empathy around them and what it was like, so that I can support all of you all better too. So I guess at the end of the day, what I'm getting at is a couple of things. Is like, you definitely need some more space for your rest and relaxation, for you to feel okay, some like places where you can remove stress from your life. And your kiddo, um, well, they're struggling with a lot of things. And so what ended up happening here is a disconnect in the relationship that the two of you had before the new baby came. And I know you touched on that. You said you've done a lot of reading and don't really have like the wherewithal, the time, the energy, the spoons to do a lot of one-on-one bonding, which, like, again, I totally understand that. And that's kind of why I'm suggesting that if you were able to find other places in your life to remove some of the pressure points, then you might actually find that that allows you to bond with your older kiddo and come back together with your older kiddo. And here's the thing is that when we have that connection, hmm, hey baby. So here's the thing, when we have that connection, a lot of these problems with not listening
On a Zoom call?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm.
I love you, Mama.
I love you too, sweetheart.
Yeah, I love you so much.
Mm. All right. I'll be done in just a minute, okay?
Okay.
So, if, like I was saying, if the connection actually builds the foundation for the cooperation and collaboration, for them feeling like intrinsically motivated to help with the thing as opposed to it deteriorating to yelling. And in our lives, we can often find places where if we're peeling off different layers, um, we're able to find a new place where we can reconnect with that kiddo without like some of the things that are contributing to making it so that you don't have the time and energy for that. Um, Hopefully, this is all helpful. I feel like I've been talking for quite a minute here, and my little guy here is apparently needing some loving attention. So I'm going to go ahead and shut off this recording, and hopefully, you find it helpful.
Mom.
And again,
Mom, I just want to say one thing. I want them to know that I have a pet leopard gecko.
Yeah, pet leopard gecko.
Yeah.
That's a cool new pet. His name is
Godzilla.
All right. Well, that was important to him. So it's important to me. He just got Godzilla yesterday.
Yeah.
And he loves Jurassic Park. All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So hopefully you find this helpful. And if you feel like you need any more support with, ways that you could take pressure points off of your life or anything like that, or you just, really love this energy and want to get some more, please join us over on Skool. I'd love to have you there and love to be able to support you through these things and kind of troubleshoot and collaborate with you on ways to help your family feel more connected and together and have more moments of happiness, joy, and relaxation.
Yeah.